Hey, what's up guys? Logan McNeely, the creator of Weakness WOD here, giving you your 18.1 breakdown and strategies coming straight from us. Alright guys, a couple of big tips we have for you, starting with the transitions. The transitions are going to be huge. In a 20-minute AMRAP, 20-minute clock really, right, you're going to be transitioning through 3 different movements for 20 minutes. That's going to be, let's say you do 10 rounds, 30 transitions. Taking time in between your transitions is only going to hurt you. Set up everything really close. Make sure that you're hopping up on the bar, hopping down, getting right to the dumbbell, going from the dumbbell straight to the rower, making sure that you're also getting in and out of the rower efficiently as well. All right, we're going to talk about that in a second. After transitions, the biggest part of this workout is going to be spent on the rower. So knowing yourself and how you do with longer aerobic workouts is going to come into play right now as you're going through this workout. All right? Since most of the time is spent on the rower, we want to make sure you're doing that efficiently. So making sure that your body posture is good, you're not leaning in too far, you're pushing from the heels as you're pressing back, making sure that you're just coming in far enough to where your knees are over your ankles, but you're still pressing back without necessarily leaning all the way back. Think about that. If you lean all the way back and you're basically adding in a sit-up almost every row, that's only going to hurt you when you go onto the rig and you start to do toes to bar, which is working the same amount, the same muscle groups. If you know that your grip strength needs a little bit of help here, something I would recommend is possibly breaking up the toes to bar, okay? Or even doing 2 types of toes to bar. You could do the fast and aggressive kind, where you're pulling your feet back down as fast as you can. As soon as your feet pass that plane, driving the knees up, kicking the bar, that might help you get through those 8 quicker, but is also going to be very taxing on your core. Not going to be as much time on your hands though, so something to think about. Or if you know that you're really efficient with toes to bar, maybe that's where you get your breath back. Maybe that's where you do longer, bigger kip swings, using that time to catch your breath in between each rep. And it will also allow you to kind of reset and rehook those hands back over for better grip for every rep if you could do that. All right, so as we all know with this dumbbell, biggest thing we want to do here is just focus on making it even and then making each rep consistent and quick. So something that's going to help with this that a lot of people might not realize is that if you put your hand right in the middle of this dumbbell, you physically have to grip this thing with your own hands, right? Like it's all relying on your grip, versus if you can put that top head of the dumbbell against your hand, now it's like you can kind of release that grip a little bit as you're coming back down because it's weighing on your hand versus you actually having to hold it as you're coming all the way back down. So something to mess with right here, all right? The second thing with that kettlebell or with that dumbbell clean and jerk is making sure that as you catch that dumbbell on your shoulder, you're going right up into that overhead, or right up into that jerk. All right, so you're here, kettlebell clean, you're already in the dip position, drive all the way up, lock that arm out, make sure it's good overhead position, and then from here, instead of bringing it back down to your shoulder before going back into that under hip position, make sure that you're going from here straight back down underneath of those hips. So a couple reps are going to look like this. From here, clean, press, all the way back down, right back into that next rep, okay? Last thing we want to do is wear our grip out even more by just dipping, driving, right, and using a lot of arms. That little bit of speed isn't going to be worth it if it taxes our grip, because we're only going to be gripping on the rower and on the toes of the bar that we go to after this. Getting in and out of this rower is going to be super fast, all right? We want to make it fast. So what I want to see here is as you're putting that dumbbell on the ground, you're not dropping it, because what's it going to do? Roll away from you, make it further away each time you go back. So taking it right down, set it down, stepping right over and in. So if you can step in, sit down, slide your feet in, you're good to row already, all right? Last thing we want to do is get our feet set, tighten these things up, then start rowing. Then by the time we're done rowing, we have to unclip, then bring our feet out. What we want to be able to do is literally slide our feet in, start rowing, right? And then right afterwards, set it down, we can jump right back out, all right? The faster you can get in and out of these things, it's going to save you a lot of time over maybe 10 sets on this rower, right? If you get into 10 rounds, 10 times you're getting in and out of this rower, all right? That's a lot of transition. So if you can save a little bit of time here, slide those feet in. When it comes to starting on the row, we want to get the calories per hour up as fast as possible. So do that by taking smaller, faster chunks and then getting into a big pull. All right, last thing we want to do is hop in and then make that first pull long and slow, right? Long and slow. And then finally by that third pull, then you're up to speed versus doing a couple quick, fast pulls, getting bigger range of motion, and then speeding that flywheel up. All right? Whenever you're doing that row, like I said before, make sure you're not leaning too far back, because then you're just going to be doing another sit-up before you got to go to toes to bar, right? So try and find a pace that you can push with your knees over your heels, push back, lean back, pull back with those arms. Relax the arms, relax the hips. We're just coming in, again, to right here. We don't need to get all the way right here or even further where we're starting to push off the balls of our feet. All right, push through those heels as you're pulling back. All right, get in, get out, move on. All right, when it comes to the rower, something else that we want to make sure happens is that your calories, make sure that they read 12 and they read 12 and 14 before you hop off the row. The last thing you want to do is assume that it's going to roll right over to 12 and 14. You're hopping out and then, oh, the judge has to call you back because you didn't finish your 12 or 14. So make sure you get 12 or 14 on the dot before you get off. It's better to go a little bit further than it is to not go enough and then waste that time getting out and then having to get back in and keep cranking just one or two little pulls. All right, guys, hey, last thing I want to leave you with is talking about pacing. Now, you saw the first round, Kristen Holte came out, was 120, obviously slowed down a lot further than that. Sam Briggs held about a 130 pace that whole time, and I think she was in her 14th or 15th round on that last the last calorie set. Now, they're obviously really fit people. She was able to hold that 130 pace the whole time, knowing that maybe we slow down, maybe we start off focusing on going a little bit slower and then ramping up if we can. 20 minutes is a long time. So what I suggest you guys do here is go for a pace that's maybe about minute 45, start off, minute 50, see how that works out. Maybe it's 2 minutes, but you're trying to hold that pace so you know that if you could go a little harder towards that tail end of the workout, maybe the last 7-8 minutes, awesome, start to crank that rower up a little bit more, right? That's where you're gonna make up the most time, is on the rower and on the transitions. Give it a shot, guys. Can't wait to see how you do. Also, check back for next week as we're giving you 18.2 breakdown and strategy.